Hi guys, today is the 15th of August, 9:58 over here in the UK, and I just wanted to go over some things as we are coming up to the 17th of August, the 7th lunar day in the 7th lunar month, and it's a potential watch day for something to happen, possibly associated with New York, possibly associated with Donald Trump, maybe Kilauea. We've got a lot of different events we're looking out for, and we'll see if any of them, if any, transpire at all. But I wanted to quickly just cover the last part of the hangman again, in particular the L. So I just brought it up. I'm just going to quickly draw some stuff which may indicate the lunar. And if you'll notice, there's this faint mark down here that they've rubbed out. I think it's pretty clear, but that would join with that line and come down. That's the lunar 7, so that's one representation there. But then the actual faint line that they've rubbed out creates its own 1, and the lunar becomes an upside down 7. And obviously you may see a 4 in there as well, putting that to one side. So we've got lunar 7 and 17, and then the last thing that I think you can possibly make out of this is coming down, following the faint line, and then going across this way, which is the letter F. So if you combine all that together, that's the 7th, that's the lunar 7, 17, and the letter F. Now the letter F could stand for a variety of things, but considering we may be taking a date reference out of this, it would make sense if it stands for a day, like Friday. And when you do look at the calendar, the 17th is a Friday. Compare that to the lunar calendar, and you'll see that the lunar 7th month started on the 11th of August, and the 7th lunar day in the 7th lunar month is the 17th of August. So that all seems to correspond, and obviously it's a Friday, as I've mentioned, so all those points connect together. Obviously that has happened before with other dates from this video. Some have worked out, like February the 14th, others haven't, but we're still watching, we're still looking out for it. Now when it comes to the number 7, 17, 70, 777, pretty much 7 in all its variations, we've already talked about how Donald Trump seems acutely linked to that series of numbers. Now I don't think that means he's sent by God. I think he's possibly being used by God, but the man doesn't espouse any sort of affiliation with what I would term as, you know, a Christian or someone of any religion that has any moral standing. You can ignore the constant news cycle and just look at some of his behaviors, his actions, and his words, his tweets, and they are not, you know, they're not associated with the Heavenly Father at all. So again, I think it's a manipulation. But you'll notice that on his first full day in office, so Donald Trump was born June 1946. 70 years from that date brings you to June 14th, 2016. 7 months from that date brings you to January 14th, 2017. And 7 days from that date brings you to January 21st, 2017, which is the date that Donald Trump had his first full day in office. He was inaugurated on the 20th, but his first full day in the White House was on January the 21st. And obviously that's a series of 70 years to 7 months to 7 days. So the lunar 7th, the 7th month, the 7th lunar day, the 17th, it may be a connection with Donald Trump in that way. And obviously another connection with Donald Trump is QAnon. And obviously Q 17th letter of the alphabet. Anon adds up to 17 if you take the numbers from each of the letters, like A is the first letter and so on and so forth, add up those single digits and you get to the number 17. Q also represents a number of Q words, but two that really comes to my mind quickly is the word quest and question, and obviously question evolves out of the word quest, searching for something, and obviously that's pretty much what us watchers have been doing, searching for something, a possible second 9/11 event, and it's possible that this character that just came out of nowhere, you know, it's kind of difficult to, you can ask any YouTuber, it's pretty difficult to go from being unknown to having loads of followers, but for me personally, this guy kind of, or this girl, I don't know, just appeared overnight really. So I think it's they've had some help, and that is potentially a clue in itself. A quest for a question leading to Q, which is the 17th letter of the alphabet. It may be that on the 17th of August something is to happen. But aside from that, when you turn the letters sideways, I did this in the previous video, but you can see that the L forms a 17, or backwards anyway, 17. The I, or the T, forms a H, which is the 8th letter of the alphabet, and the Z down here forms an R, which is the 18th letter of the alphabet. So you have another connection to the 17th of August 2018, not just from interpreting the images on the chalkboard and in various other locations, and taking the lunar 7th and 17 directly from the L itself, but also the other capitalized letters seem to be pointing to the 17th of August 2018. Now, obviously, I pointed out the fact that the 17 could also be the lunar 17th, which is the 27th of August, which is 1 month after we had the longest blood moon in a decade, or sorry, in a century. And it may be that that's significant because we do have the reference to the big red apple and a couple of other references to eclipses in this video. It may be that both are correct and the scenario starts on the 17th and has a series of important dates, maybe like the 21st, the 23rd, the 27th, the 31st, the 2nd of September, the 3rd. I haven't really included the 3rd, so I'll just stop at the 2nd, but you can see what I'm saying. If that is correct, then that would be the start of the timeline for this whole year. We've been thinking we're in the timeline, and we are, because we're in the year of the dog, 2018. Get ready for a new currency, 666 drop off the stock market, all those kind of things kind of pointing to something big happening this year. Or just talk about the blue wave and references to the tsunamis. We had the forced tsunami alerts, the forced missile alerts for Hawaii as well, the volcano going off in Hawaii, and all these connections that seem to be linked to the IPEC GOAT video in reference to Obama. So it definitely looks like we're in the right year, and then we've been trying to narrow down the months as we go month by month, and obviously when we get to August now, one of the key points is we have the word August, and then we've got all these different connections that may link to the 17th, and more connections that may link to the 27th, and then all these other numbers in the middle. The 21st, as I said, 21st of August is the date that Hawaii received statehood, and Kilauea is erupting there. We have that referenced in the IPEC GOAT video. Something connected with Fisher number 8 may happen, which is why it's important for me to tell you guys that there is another hurricane heading towards Hawaii next week, around the 21st. It's not exactly at, this is where Hawaii is. It's not exactly at Hawaii. Let me zoom in. So it's not quite there. That's the big island, but it's in the vicinity. So we have, you know, just kind of like a week and a bit after Hurricane Hector, made that pass by Hawaii to the southeast. We've got another one possibly making a pass by to the south again. Again, trajectories could change. This is an early model, a week in advance. So we'll see if it changes its trajectory. But at the moment, it's looking like it's heading there again. And what also I find unusual is the day before, NASA are planning to send a submarine to the sea floor right next to Hawaii. They haven't clarified that it's next to the big island or near the volcano, but considering their proposed aim is to study the environment, you know, the excuse, I'll say excuse, could be looking for changes in the ecological system due to the lava entering into the ocean. But, you know, only the Heavenly Father knows what could go on down there with an organization that operates in the public but is so secretive. And obviously even their logo has a depiction of a snake on it. And all these big organizations have been operating in plain sight for so long. It's just, you know, they've just been accepted. And now we've got these potential watch days and watch events that we're looking out for. And we've got this series of dates lining up where we could have potential hurricane activity around the Kilauea volcano around the time it receives statehood. But the day before, NASA going down in a submarine to do, you know, only we don't know what. But obviously one of the things we've talked about is a possible purposeful detonation of the Kilauea volcano in order to cause mass casualty through a massive volcanic eruption, a massive earthquake, and a tsunami. If that does happen, and, you know, as I said before, if uranium is detected in the water after that, then that's going to be your starter for war. Who's going to be blamed? Who's going to take the blame? Iran, Russia, China, North Korea? We don't know. But the whole purpose of searching for the second 9/11 event is because we believe that the first 9/11 event was a false flag designed to start a war. And not just start a war, but to have it be publicly accepted for that war to be waged. So that's why it's important for us to look out for that, because if it does happen, then we know that it's not what they're saying, what they will be saying it is. In terms of potential names, this one I believe is called Hurricane Lane. Checked out the name Lane, and it literally means path or roadway, and I found that interesting as well. You know, pathway, roadway, to what, to where, to what ends. You know, if they are manipulating the names of the hurricanes, and, you know, they do obviously name all of them with different names that mean something. For example, the one that follows after that is called Miriam, and Miriam means rebellion or wished for child. Also interprets of sea of bitterness or sea of sorrow, and that would obviously be very well connected to if a tsunami was to occur and, you know, Hurricane Miriam was to be forming at the same time. That would be a different way of looking at it in terms of meaning. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to bring to you guys, just to kind of update and reiterate why I think the 7th lunar day in the 7th lunar month, the 17th of August, is a potential watch day for something to happen in association with a second 9/11 style event. I can't be specific in terms of what exactly is going to happen on that day, if something does happen, but I have a feeling it's linked to submarines in some way, some form of nuclear missile detonation, drone, bomb, whatever. And like I said, if it's a timeline, then it may be that one thing happens on the 17th and then another thing happens on the 21st, and it escalates until we get to what I think could be where things really kick off, which is the 2nd of September. literally interpreted as the second 9/11. If you factor in 2018, add 2, 1, and 8, and you get to 11. So you guys, with all that said, I hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.